mine from Ohio came out here and helped me redo the exterior of this building 2 years ago. And 20-year paint my ass. It's already peeling up, and I already got to repaint it.
Wow.
Even just 2 years. I mean, but my next project after I finish the project I'm working on, which you'll be able to see when we get to it.
Very
I
cool.
don't worry about snakes in this building either.
Some wasps.
Yeah, if you guys get in here, I'm gonna get rid of that nest.
They're building a nest here, huh?
Yeah, they're not gonna be building it for long. Those wasps really aren't that scary, but I will close the door just
Oh wow, this
make
is
you guys
nice.
feel a little more comfortable.
So cool. So cool. Look at the hat.
Yeah.
Look at the hat. Wow, super cool.
Wow.
And the little bench.
Yeah, wasp nest gone.
Yeah, that was.
So I'm gonna turn the lights on.
There we go.
So,
Wow, this is still in very good shape.
and look at the kids. That's,
The building itself dates to the early 1900s, the 19 teens.
It looks like recently those pictures for the little girls.
Jenna Lou Jenna Lou got her love of dance from her mother. Her mother, Rita, was in Hollywood in the 1920s during silent films, and then became a school teacher. Now, when she met married Frank and Jenna Lou was born, she homeschooled Jenna Lou. But she wanted her to go to college, so she sent her off to Lordsburg for high school for a formal education.
Yeah.
Jenna Lou graduated from Lordsburg High School at the age of 15, valedictorian of her class. Was sent to Silver City for college at that young age and graduated from the college in Silver City with a degree in the performing arts and a degree in history, and then went off on her career. Now, once Frank started suffering from dementia, that's what would bring her back home. Her mother was teaching dance in Lordsburg at that time. They purchased this building, moved it up here. The two ladies taught together for a couple of years, and then Jenna Lou took over the classes from her mother. She did get to do one good thing with her dad before his health got too bad. They went on a horseback ride from here to San Diego on horseback.
We are from San Diego.
Stopping in all the little towns along the way that had a place for her to perform, and she put on a one-woman show in each town that had a place for her to perform.
Oh, wow.
And it would culminate with her riding her horse up on stage of the Regis Philbin show at that time.
Oh wow.
And that would have been in about 1964 when a young Regis Philbin had his very first talk show out there in San Diego.
Wow. You know who that is?
She hated him because he was very arrogant.
I bet.
Jenna Lou was a lady. She carried herself like a lady. She didn't swear. Very polite. You got a damn out of her. That's about as much swearing as she did. And you better move away because she wasn't just this weak actress, dancer, model. She's a very tough ranch girl.
Yeah.
But anyway, I still get to meet a lot of these girls. They come in here and reminisce about their time taking dancing here and look around for the picture on the wall.
So cute.
Yeah.
This is her. This gives you an idea how tall she
Oh,
was.
wow.
And that's that door.
Oh, that's yeah.
She is on her toes though, however.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah.
But she was about 6 foot almost. This
Yeah,
is her
she
as
is.
well.
She's taller than me, huh? That's for sure.
Yeah, she was taller than
You said 6'4"?
Well,
Is that what
about
you said?
6 foot. You gotta remember, she's on her toes.
Yeah.
When
So
she's raised up, now I have a hat on, but she
Yeah.
was raised up and her head actually is right at the top of this board.
yeah,
And so,
that's pretty high. Yeah. Big
So,
girl.
is there still classes?
no, there aren't classes anymore. That was from like the 1960s or
Oh, wow.
1970s.
Oh, wow.
We had our daughter here with our granddaughters, and they found that they cleaned this building for us, and then found that in a drawer and thought it
23
was neat, and so we stuck it up on the door.
Yeah, very nice. Very neat. Wow.
Very cool.
But you can see she taught many types of dance in here: some ballet, some tap, some jazz, some theater.
Super cool.
But she quit teaching dance in here in about 1995.
1995.
She was in her mid-50s at that point and didn't want to cripple herself. And I think had she known she'd only live another 10 years, that she probably would have just kept right on teaching dance, but none of us know how long we have on this
Yeah.
earth, you know,
I
so
know.
anything can happen, you know.
Nothing guaranteed, yeah.
Yep, nothing's guaranteed. It's like
Yeah.
I'm 55 now, and I told my brother, you know, I was talking to my brothers, and I'm the oldest of 4 boys, and I tell them, you know, anything after 50's potluck, you know, there are people that die in their 50s, there are people that live in their 90s, and you know,
Yep.
hell,
Yeah.
Betty White was like 100, you know, and, you know, so you never know, you know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of variables in there that, you know, lifestyle, genetics, you know, there's a lot of variables in there. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I know people that died from lung cancer that never smoked a day in their life, and then there's
Yeah.
people that smoke until they're like 90 years old, they're still
Yeah.
smoking, and they're still
Yeah.
alive, you know, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, like George,
Genetics have a lot to do with it, and, you know, a lot
like
of
George Burns. He smoked cigars all his
Oh,
life,
yeah,
and he
George
lived
Burns,
into
yeah.
his
The name
90s.
I
huh?
haven't heard in a long time, yeah, George Burns, you know, but,
Yeah, I'm turning 52 tomorrow,
okay.
so that's what this trip is for my
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
I turn 56 next month.
Ah, nice.
So-
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, then that's the way I'm feeling. You know, I'm starting to feel like I need to get out and travel and see things.
yeah,
and-
well, I mean, you know, I would like to be doing that too, but,
but
now I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not stuck here. I do this because I want to do
Yeah,
it. But,
yeah.
Your business.
But, yeah, well,
But-
it's not just a business, it's,
How?
the family.
it's a tradition and actually an honor
Yeah.
Yes.
to be able to be part of this and do
Part of-
this.
yeah.
And, you know,
Keeping-
I'm just trying to do my little piece of history, you know,
Yeah.
and, do what I can,
Yeah.
while I'm here. I'm
You're-
basically a one-man show most of the time, but that guy that was here that I was giving a tour to when you showed up, we were running a little late. So I cut off some of it from, some of the tour from him, but doesn't matter.
He'll be back.
He might be running our blacksmith shop for us, so, cause he's a
Yeah.
blacksmith. That's what he was doing. He was showing me some of the stuff he made in his truck.
Good.
Okay. Yeah.
And, so the idea will be he'll make stuff while tours are going on in the shop, and then we'll be able to put some of the stuff in the shop to sell, and
Very good,
he'll
yeah.
keep a percentage of it, and I can keep a percentage of it, and you know,
Yeah.
we were talking.
So-
He'll be back. You know, he'll be back to be able to see the rest of it, and he wants to get some stuff. So I think he's very interested in running the forge. So
That'll be good.
Seemed pretty excited. So. But we'll see. We'll see how things pan out. You know.
Yeah. You'll preserve history. I'll get to observe it.
Yeah. Go ahead, smell me.
He's
You know,
fine,
I'm
Junior.
years old, but I had one.
He won't bite. He's just protective.
That's his place.
You want to come over and say hello? Huh? If I talk to you, will you bite me?
No, he won't bite you.
Want to sniff? Want to sniff?
Give him a sniff. Don't be scared. Come on. There you go.
Oh,
He smells like cats.
okay.
Yeah, he has cats. He has other animals.
The barking dog.
So this is the building before and the building after.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, you did a lot of work.
Yeah, had to remake windows and all kinds of stuff. And the friend that helped me redo it.
Wow. Look at
His little
the
band.
small stool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So-
The
Would be
little
used in
tiny
some of
kids.
some of the routines and stuff like that, and you got some of the props and stuff in here, and some of her sewing stuff in here. Now, most of her sewing was done on treadles because there was no electricity here, but these are some of her later sewing machines. But she would do a lot of her sewing in here after they got electricity in here, and do it right in this room because of the fact of electricity being in this building. But I think she preferred the treadle because you could control it better because it's driven with a foot pedal,
Yeah.
a manual sewing machine.
Wow.
All the records and
Accessories.
Yeah.
and,
For costumes.
different pieces of
Look at-
costumes. And
All the
stuff.
records.
Ballet shoes, yeah. Huh. Neat.
Cool. Swords
More
and axes.
costumes that she made and stuff.
Nice jacket.
Yeah,
You can still wear this.
a portrait
Yeah.
one of them did of her, one of the girls did of her. With
Oh.
a beautiful tribute to her written on that portrait.
You
Share
can,
of people as time has passed by moment.
I guess old record player.
Yeah, probably 50s or 60s record player by the looks of it.
And then separate speakers.
Yeah, like my dad has an old Silvertone guitar. Now, I don't know if you know.
That's
Really?
the outfit for little girls.
I don't know if you know about Silvertone guitars. They're made by Sears.
Oh, okay. So you could
Okay.
order them from the catalog.
No, and they came with their own. Their case had the amplifier right in the case.
Okay.
And you know, he used to mess around with the guitar as a young man, and you know, still has that old guitar. And that's what I get when they pass. The only thing I want is his old guitar. I can't even play guitar. To me, it's a family heirloom.
Yeah.
And I'll probably hang it on the wall or something.
Yeah. The first guitar was actually. Have you heard of the Rickenbacker?
No.
That's the first electric guitar that was made, and it was actually invented by Bouchon, but his partner was Rickenbacker, and they felt like people couldn't say Bouchon, so they called it the Rickenbacker. But I'm related to my great grandpa's Bouchon, so I have some relation to guitar history.
Yeah.
I'm a keyboardist though. I don't really play. I can play a few chords, but I'm not a guitarist.
Right. Well, I mean, to me, I don't play at all. But, to me, it's just the family heirloom.
Yeah.
My father's, and
That type of history is definitely interesting to me. Yeah, will we be able to see it? Is it here?
no, it's not here. It's in Ohio.
Uh-huh.
It's in Ohio right now. But, he's still
I know
alive.
these
He
old
was just
hats.
out here helping me. He's 77.
Wow,
And
he's
he was
still
out
out
here
here.
helping me work on a building for a couple of months, and then they had to go back to Ohio because my mother's battling cancer and herself, and
That's too bad.
you know, she was cancer free. Last we heard, now she gets test results back today. I do believe today is the 10th, and she gets her test results back from the latest biopsy from her bladder. It was bladder cancer that she had. She started off as kidney cancer. They took the kidney out. She only has one kidney, and then some of it got onto her bladder. So they've treated her 3 times. They treat that with tuberculosis. They squirt tuberculosis into your bladder, and the tuberculosis will kill the cancer cells, but then your body will turn around and kill the tuberculosis. But it causes a lot of inflammation of the bladder and a lot of suffering and stuff like that. So my mother's been through a lot. And hopefully the latest biopsy hopefully when it comes back it's negative, and she's just starting to feel better. She can't have those treatments anymore.
Yeah,
So if it comes back, the next thing is removing the bladder, and then you have to have a bag. You know, which she doesn't want. Nobody wants to have to have it.
Yeah.
Whatever they're called, catheter. But I think they talked about growing her a new bladder off of her good bladder
Really?
cells, because now they can do that
Wow.
with stem cells and stuff.
Yeah.
They can grow grow organs for people and stuff like that. Certain organs, anyway.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the Cleveland Clinic is
I
quite the clinic.
I didn't know they were at that
One
point
of the
yet.
best one of the best, at least the best one of the best ones in the United States, anyway. I'm not to say that there aren't other good hospitals. There are other good hospitals throughout the country, but we're fortunate in the United States to have good hospitals. I know some of the rest of the world aren't as lucky.
Definitely.
Yeah.
With the modern medicine. Anyway.
Very good.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, we'll shut the lights off and we'll move on.
Yeah, I'm ready.
You guys ready?
I'm ready.
All right. We'll shut the lights off. We're just gonna go out the way we came in.
Okay.
Okay.
The wasp nest is gone, so you don't have to worry about that.
Thank you.
Even if one's flying around there, he ain't gonna bother you, trust me.
Yeah, there's two then. There's your friends, the wasp. Nadine.
Oh, boy.
They came back. Yeah, they're like, hey, our nest is gone. Damn it. Yeah, well,
Go ahead.
don't build there and you won't have that problem. Go find someplace else to build. But those wasps aren't really aggressive. They just fly around.
Yeah.
I have them walking on me sometimes, and somebody will say,
really?
there's a wasp on you. And I'm like, yeah, well, if I don't bother him, he ain't going to hurt me. And he just walks around, then he flies away. They ain't gonna sting you or bite you or whatever the hell they do unless they have a reason.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I told her when you get out, don't
Yeah, don't swat at it.
Don't swat at it.
That, you know, you don't want to make it mad.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone. You know, it won't bother you. If it walks on you, just let it walk on you. It will fly away. It's not going to bother you. It's not going to bite you.
Yeah. One time when I was a kid, we used to, for fun, hide like Monopoly money and then write out maps and clues for our friends to find it. And I was looking, I put my hand and I felt what I thought was the Monopoly money, but it was a wasp's nest. And I grabbed it and pulled it out. I got all stung all up my arm, all the side of my body.
Oh, yeah. The one that was in the ground?
It was like under something, like under a piece of wood, like between the ground and some overhang. And I reached in.
Yellow jacket?
I was probably yellow jackets, I guess.
Yellow jackets like to burrow, you know, like to put ones on the ground.
Yeah. So I guess that's what it was. But I was.
When I used to live in Ohio, my stepson was living with us. His job was to mow the lawn. And the yellow jackets had put a nest in the ground in my yard. And he went over over top of where that nest was. Next thing I know, I see him running all around the house because they're chasing him and they're stinging him. You know.
That's how I was. I was running.
We're on the main street of the town.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow.
And it went farther north than it does today, and there would be even more buildings farther down the street. But when the Hills purchased the property in 1935, none of those buildings were standing, so they turned that into a pasture and went to the top of the hill behind me. And there were buildings on both sides of the street here. I know what each and every foundation was on both sides of the street. At the very top of the hill, you can see the headstones. That's Frank, Rita, Jen, Lou, and Manny all buried up there so they can keep watch over the town.
Nice.
Wow.
And there were two other major streets here. One ran through where the parking lot is today, and another one ran parallel with this one on the side of the hill over here. And where they supposedly salted the diamonds is the Sharp Peak up there, Lee's Peak.
Ah.
The original small spring was down in the wash. It runs in between these two hills. It's dry today. There's just a well casing down there where it stood. I currently get water from that windmill right there. It's only 100 feet down.
Wow.
But yeah, only 100 feet down. There's a big aquifer underneath all this. And the town never had any schools. It never had any churches. There was never any law enforcement here like a sheriff. The law enforcement here was always vigilante or militia. They did, however, have 16 different saloons that we know of or have stories of during that first mining boom. 3,000 miners, almost exclusively men. We'll say what ladies were here during the first boom you didn't write home to mom about. And during the third mining boom, they ran a rail line right through the middle of town. This is what's left of the rail bed.
Oh yeah, you can see it. The rocks.
Yeah, the black rocks sticking up. And you even got a little bowl so you can get yourself something to drink.
Wait.
It's like there's no water in here.
Like,
Do you know?
yeah, I'm always concerned with the animals. I'm an animal lover, so, you know, I want the animals to be taken care of. That's why I asked you if you were going to leave your car on with the air conditioning running, because I won't let anybody leave their animal in a car without at least the air conditioning running to the car and it having some water in there for it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we were even gonna. I think we were gonna come here yesterday, but I felt like it was too hot maybe for him. So I thought today's not as bad. But yeah,
Anyway, every one of the adobe structures that are standing are original buildings, and the first one I'm going to take you in is the last saloon that still stands. We're going to go down the left side of the street and come back up the right.
awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. He's well taken care of by her. He gets taken care of better than me. He eats first, gets his water, gets his baths. Even the veterinarian's like, that's the cleanest butt I've seen on a dog.
Because we're cute.
Like that little kitten that I say, my Jeep is just, you can see the very top of my Jeep right there. Stick it up on the other side of the foundation of that building.
Okay,
Where the
yeah,
doorways are.
yeah, I see it.
That's my home over there, okay? And the kitten was living in the engine compartment of my Jeep.
Oh,
I finally
wow.
trapped it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I was trying to trap it and I couldn't trap it. So I got a toy out from I have a 10-year-old cat too. And I threw the string underneath the Jeep and wiggled it. And for it being a small kitten, it was like, oh, what's that? You know how curious cats are. And it
Yeah.
started chasing the string. Finally got it to come over by me. And it was jumping and trying to play with the string and stuff. And I had that cage behind me and I was waiting. I just bided my time. I waited for the right opportunity and grabbed it by the scruff and threw it into the cage and then slammed
Watch the
cage
flies.
shut.
Don't put flies in
And
there.
then took it to the vet to have the vet check it out to make sure it was healthy. It got a clean bill of health. And hell, I just got her
Very
spayed.
good.
I just got her spaded on Saturday. I don't have a crying cat. We were closed on. Well, we weren't closed on Saturday. I had one of the reenactors here, but we would have been closed had he not come out here. And
Yeah.
anyway, she's become my buddy. She goes everywhere I do.
Oh, that's cute.
Follows me around everywhere.
That's so cute.
Like a dog would.
He's following you now, Juno.
How we doing? You getting along now? Certainly hearing my voice enough.
Be careful of the snakes. Be careful.
And I knew I have another one at 3, so but yeah, you wanna watch where he's
Be careful,
sticking
yeah,
his
baby.
nose and keeping him in the middle of the room with you, because you never know what could be hiding. But
I
this,
have something.
They're little flies.
Can you move?
Yeah. Do you want me to film?
this is the Grant House Saloon. The saloon was added on to the stage station during the first mining boom as a way for John Evanston, the stagekeeper, to make extra money from the stagecoach passengers. And they say the boys in here get bored drinking and bet each other who could shoot flies.
Yeah.
The tin on the roofs didn't arrive till the second mining boom. The railroad brought the tin. Most of the original roofs were flat yucca stock latia roofs. You had dirt over the yucca stocks, and you line the ceilings with linen, and you'll see examples as we go through the various buildings. About the only alcohol you could get in here would be primarily whiskey. Beer needs to be pasteurized to travel, and that wasn't common until a little later, until Anheuser-Busch came up with the idea to pasteurize beer.
Very nice. I could only imagine how it was back then.
It's like the movie Smokey and the Bandit. You know what that movie's about?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know they're racing across country. You know, he has
So,
the
Coors was the last company to pasteurize their beer. And
okay, I'm remembering.
they were paying them
Yes.
to transport their unpasteurized beer from the Coors factory to the racetrack.
But it
And
was illegal to
before
go
the
through
beer
one of the
went bad
states.
and on time for the race. So that's why it's a long way to go in a short time to get there, because they had to
Yeah.
get there before the beer went bad and on time for the race.
And I think one of the states it was illegal for them to take the beer through, right?
I don't remember everything about the movie, but I do remember the fact that that's what it's actually about.
And
Most people don't realize that. They just see the car chases and stuff, and it's got Sally Field and Burt Reynolds in it and all that kind of stuff. And
I remember that. That was the first one, and then after that was, I think, what I was saying. It was more of a race, where they had like the ambulance and different types of cars. But yeah, I remember it now. The first one was they were trucking the beer. I think one of the states it was illegal for them to go through. But they had to sneak it through and get it there fast.
Yeah.
I guess it's where, I want to say Boss Hog, but I think that's Dukes of Hazzard.
That's Dukes of Hazzard, yeah. This is it. I gotta take this with me because I noticed some bat droppings in the one room I take in here that I gotta clean up. And I didn't have time between tours and I want to clean up if you got a dog.
Oh yeah, he'll be sniffing it. Yeah, this is neat.
Super neat.
You're welcome to come in this room when you're ready.
Yeah. Maybe I'll cut it here.
Yeah. This is one of the only bars left here in Shakespeare Ghost Town in New Mexico. I'm following you. It's an old bar.
Oh wow.
This is the Stagecoach Station.
Stagecoach.
This room was originally constructed in 1859. When John Evanston arrived out here after the Civil War, this room was the entire building.
Wow.
During the first mining boom, he added the saloon on to make extra money and also added the front dining room on to accommodate more stagecoach traffic. Now, by the 1970s, this room was in bad shape, and Jen and Lou had to get some friends together, and they redid this whole back section of the building, and also redid the yucca stock latia roof you see above your head. Most of the original roofs were just like this one. There's no longer dirt over top of this roof like the original one. It's plywood and tar paper and tin to help protect it. That's a lot of yucca stalks above your head. And you'd have white linen strung underneath these beams to help reflect light from the lanterns. And these walls should be coated with lime on this side of the building, like the saloon is, to help reflect light from the lanterns, but they never got around to doing that. And but neat stuff.
So this looks like a railroad tie, maybe?
No,
No?
hell, this was hauled out here 21 years
Before?
before the railroad. That's a
Oh.
that's an original beam.
Wow.
Hauled out here, and you would have had 3 of those. The railroad didn't go through until 1880. That beam came here in 1859, and
I guess I'm
you had
thinking.
one here. You had one across the back of the building at one time before
Okay.
that back section was redone, and then actually at one time there was one across those 3 beams back there. And they had to put, they didn't have all the modern equipment to put all those beams up, and they had to haul those things from a long ways. Because
Wow.
we don't have any big trees like that here.
No. I guess I was thinking that because it's tarred, but was that?
I don't know what that is, if that actually is tar or what they got on it, but it's still
Yeah.
oozing out of it even today,
Yeah.
all these years later. But that is a serious beam. Some of the items we have on the table that you'd have around for the time.
Oh wow.
I had never seen one of these before coming here.
Yeah.
That's a iron.
Iron.
It's
Huh?
a coal iron.
Coal.
Wow.
Oh, you put coal in
You
it?
put coal in it, they use the iron,
Wow.
rather than put it on a stove. And
A pan.
the different pans, coffee grinder, this is a waffle iron, this
Waffle.
one was patented in 1922. I know that because it says it right here on the lid, but it works like any other waffle iron.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
There you go. Nice.
Washboard, of course. Then this is a Danish pan
Oh.
that you make apple skevers
Oh
in.
yeah.
The Danish pancake balls.
Yeah.
You guys
Able
familiar
scuba.
with those?
Yes.
Yeah.
Solvent.
We went to Solvang and learned about that.
Let's see.
Yeah. Apple skiver.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know what, depends on where you're from, what
Yeah.
they're called, because the
Yeah.
people from like the Netherlands call them poffages.
Oh.
I guess.
I've heard evil skeever, I've heard apple skeever, I've heard poffages.
Yeah.
They're pancake balls.
I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. Yeah. what I
I
heard.
probably am too. It all depends on like where they're from, what they
Yeah.
call them.
Exactly.
But they're still like little pancake balls, but that's like a Scandinavian thing.
That's an oven. Stove?
That top part is the oven. This is a stove from
Wow.
one of the eras here. You got to remember this is a Townsville 1932, and
Yeah. What I heard is that they made pancakes after the battle, and the holes in their shields made it.
huh,
That's where it came from.
huh.
So they put the pancake mix in the holes of their shields and then baked it, and that's
Really?
how it got invented.
Huh.
That's me, you know. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I
This
heard.
goes on top of this.
Oh wow. Oh okay. I
You
see.
know, and that's the grate to hold the wood. And it could, if you change the grate out, you could put a coal grate in there.
So they would take that off and fill it with wood and then put it back on and
No, no, you
cook
put
or
it through the door.
oh through the door. Okay. That's just it taken apart. Okay. See, I run everything by you, so I know the truth instead of my assumptions.
Well, you know, and the bats, so the bats were in here last night making a mess for me. You can't control the bats.
No.
But I noticed it when we came in here when I gave the first tour, you never know. And so
And
they like to hang from the ceiling above. You can see how the board's all stained from them hanging up there.
Oh, wow.
oh wow, that's neat.
I don't care where you go in the world, though, there are bats.
What, the rope?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the rope, yep, I'm gonna get to the rope. I'm just, trying to clean up a little bit, but,
Look at
this
these.
so this is the front dining room, and it didn't just serve as the front dining room, it also served as the hanging room because of the lack of tall trees here. There are no tall trees here, so you needed a place to hang someone, and this would become the room. Now,
So
we
they
don't,
eat and hang.
huh?
They eat here and hang.
Not at the same time. It wasn't like dinner and a hanging. But we don't know how many people were hung in this room for sure because there are varying accounts depending on who you'd really like to believe. But we do know for sure who the last two guests of honor were, though. Wow. They were Sandy King and Russian Bill Tettenborn.
Oh.
And they're represented by the two ropes because they were hung together. And Russian Bill, he arrived out here, we think, with a hunting party, liked his prospects, decided he would stay. Now, he must have been trusted because he was working as a claims reporter for some of the miners here. Unfortunately, a couple of those miners showed up here and accused him of robbing them out of their mining claim. Very serious charges if your job is to record their claims.
Yeah.
The local militia would get together, decide there was some truth to the matter, and decide they were going to hang him for this.
Wow.
Everywhere. But,
You're all get out of your way.
That's crazy, yeah.
anyway, like I said, they decided they were going to hang him for this. Sandy King, he had arrived with the first mining boom, and like Curly Bill Brocious, he was hired by the mining companies to help protect their interests, and simply stayed around long after they needed his services. Now, Sandy, he didn't do just one thing that was bad enough to get himself hung. It was an accumulation thing with Sandy. He had been a thorn in society for several years. In the morning before he was hung, he went to the general merchandise, and he would purchase himself a silk handkerchief. And in doing so, the clerk found it rather amusing that the tough cowboy was buying himself a silk handkerchief, so he was poking fun at him a little bit. Sandy, being the type of gentleman he was, didn't take very kindly to being made fun of and thought he would teach the clerk a lesson. When the clerk went to hand him the handkerchief, Sandy grabbed him by the arm and shot one of his fingers off.
Oh wow.
This was a bad mistake by Sandy because the clerk, he happened to be very well liked in town. Sandy, however, had been a thorn in society for several years. Local militia would get together. They had already decided they were hanging Russian Bill. They got to thinking about all the bad things that Sandy had done and just figured they might as well just hang Sandy at the same time. That way they could throw him in the same hole. The digging out here is not easy, and the one standing rule they did have in town was if you killed someone, you had to bury them. Given the hard rocky nature of this ground, that did help keep a lot of those indiscriminate killings down. Now these two gentlemen, however, would hear about the little party they're about to be invited to, and they made things much worse. They jumped on a couple of horses that didn't belong to them and tried to ride out of town.
Wow.
Horse thievery in the 1800s was a hangable offense as well.
Yeah.
And these two would be gathered, and I'm going to sweep some of this up too. So but these two would be gathered back up, they'd be brought in here, and they'd be hung. This would be a terrible place to be hung. This is not a drop you and break your neck. This is a pull you up and tie you off. and the local militia members would have to stand around and wait till the two men quit struggling.
Wow.
Then they'd all go back to their homes. Stagekeeper
Nice.
John Evanston just went back to his bed in that back room, and this is where they left the men hang. They wanted to make an example of these two.
Wow.
What they didn't plan on, however, was a stagecoach rolling up, and the passengers getting off and coming in here expecting to get something to eat.
Oh, wow.
The passengers would first have to help cut the men down. They'd be drug outside and laid beside the building so all the tables could be pushed back in. One of those passengers on the stagecoach happened to be a stringer. Now, a stringer in the 1800s was a reporter.
Ah.
He would travel the trains and stagecoaches and collect stories, and when he got to the telegraph office, he would string the stories back. Well, he got to bugging John about the dead men. He wanted to know what the two men did, and he wanted to know the full details of the hanging. Well, let's face it, this is kind of technically a lynching. Remember, I told you there's no sheriff here. There's no judge. These gentlemen didn't get proper trials
Yeah.
with a proper judge. They were judged by the militia. And John didn't want to talk about it because he didn't want to take a chance of getting anyone in any trouble. And he's busy trying to do his job by trying to feed the other passengers. The stringer's doing what reporters do, though, however. He's following John around, badgering John. After a while, John gets mad because this guy won't leave him alone. Turns to the stringer and says, Russian Bill stole a horse, which of course he did. Sandy King was just a damn nuisance. I don't think he asked any more questions after that. He kind of went about his way.
Yeah, like it's just like you were being right now.
Right. And you'd think that'd be the end of the story, but several months later, they got a letter from the Russian consulate in New York inquiring of the whereabouts of Russian Bill. He really was Russian. And his mother was writing because she had been receiving his letters from Shakespeare for a couple of years, and he quit writing back to her. She wanted to know if anyone knew what happened to her son. Well,
Hey.
again, being a lynching, and they also didn't want to hurt her feelings either, so they put their heads together and came up with a reply back that just simply stated, Dear Madam, we regret to inform you, but your son has died of throat trouble. Not a lie, just not the complete
Throat
truth.
trouble.
Yeah, these two are currently buried in the big cemetery you passed on your way up here. There's one headstone for both of them. They didn't even initially have a headstone, they just had a wooden marker, but a lady I talked about in the next building decided they needed a headstone, so she would purchase one for them. And, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So I swept up some in here.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. That's good.
Very neat.
You never know what I'm gonna find in these buildings as I go through these
Yeah.
buildings, and I don't want the dogs licking up, dogs
Yeah.
lick everything, so.
Yeah.
Weird stuff.
The dirtier, the better with him.
A litter box has got a bunch of Tootsie Rolls in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yes, definitely people do.
so I know how that works. I had a dog too, I had a dog, with the two cats, with the one cat when I first moved here. Now it's just two cats. I had to put the dog down because she was 15 years old and
Wow.
had a bad heart murmur, and
Oh, he has a heart murmur too.
does he?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's
You
what?
got
He's
you got
10?
him on medication?
Not yet.
Not
And
yet.
eventually you'll have to get him on medication for the heart murmur, and I know how it works, that it can only do so much, and eventually it catches up to him, but once they tell you he needs medication, get him on that medication, that'll help quite a bit, you can have him for a lot longer.
Yeah, they said we'll check on him next year and see how he's going.
Yeah. But yeah, how old is he?
10.
10, okay, well, mine was 15 when she passed, so, and she looked very, very similar to him, except for she had long hair. It broke my heart, that's why I never got another one.
Yeah.
Never got another dog, because it broke my heart, because she was my lap buddy. When I'd go riding, go for rides in the Jeep, she would be sitting on my lap while I drove. On my lap with her paw, looking out the window.
Yeah.
And the minute I'd only take her on small trips where I knew that, if I was going to run into a store, I don't want to be like the gas station where I just in and out, roll back to the car real quick.
Yeah.
And she'd lay down in the she'd get off my lap when I was getting ready to get out, lay down in the passenger seat, wouldn't bark at anybody. She'd lay down in the passenger seat, and when I got back in the Jeep, she'd jump back up on my lap and be ready to go. She was a very good dog, and I just miss her dearly.
How long did she have the heart murmur?
She had it for quite a few years. Quite a few years before we lost her. You know, at first when they told us about it, we're like, well, now all these dogs, you know, small dogs a lot of times get those, and she had it for quite a few years, and you know, I mean, let's face it, if you get 20 years out of a dog, you're doing real good.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
And most dogs, you know.
We're going back this
The
way?
bigger, yeah, we're gonna go back the way we came in because I didn't take the lock off the front door.
Okay.
But usually the bigger the dog, the shorter the lifespan.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
You're okay?
He's small but big for a Chihuahua.
You know what? My Chihuahua is about the same size,
Yeah.
so.
Very good. Shakespeare Ghost Town in New Mexico. It's the bar.
Room and dustpan stay in here. Because it's not uncommon for me to have to sweep up bat droppings.
Back into the light of day.
Unfortunately, I do apologize for having to tell you, I was trying to tell you that story while I was sweeping up.
It's fine.
Hopefully I didn't screw up any of the story and you guys got it all.
No.
I think so. We wouldn't know. We wouldn't know if you mess it up or not.
Well, it didn't make sense. If I skipped something, it wouldn't make sense. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did the mother ever answer, or that's it? She was satisfied with that.
I don't know of any reply back after that. You know.
That's a cup.
It looks like a coffee cup, maybe, huh? A mug.
Wow.
I think you said you can take whatever you see on the floor.
No, and I did forget my can, so I'm gonna walk back.
Oh,
my can.
yeah, you gotta
I don't want it
spit.
sitting in the building.
Yeah, so right now we are live at Shakespeare Ghost Town in New Mexico. What's the town that we drove through to come here? Lodgetown or Lordsburg? Yeah, it's right by Lordsburg, New Mexico. We have pretty good internet out here for being out in the middle of nowhere. This is the Grant House Stage Station. So the railroad ran right here. Huh?
Yeah, right through there. See where the lump is there?
Yep. Ah, yeah.
It went right out that way. Now, Mr. Boyle had a sense of humor about him when he was busy renaming the town Shakespeare. The street became Avon Avenue. And this next building would become the Stratford. This is the Stratford Hotel.
Ah,
Oh wow.
Some of the famous people that have stayed in the building, President Rutherford B. Hayes took over the building for a whole night when he toured the West. George Hunt, Arizona's first governor, used to wait tables in this building as a young man. He'd talk about it during his speeches. Lew Wallace, territorial governor of New Mexico, Union General, also author of the book Ben-Hur, used to stay here. And Billy the Kid washed dishes in the building after breaking jail in Silver City.
ah.
He needed traveling supplies to make it in Arizona. He was put to work washing dishes and sweeping floors to earn his supplies. He hadn't killed anybody at that point. He was just a petty thief at that point. Anyway, we walk around the building. I don't take you upstairs because of the condition of the building. This is the building I'm saving money to get restored and restoring some of myself. Me and my father did this section here, and I'm not done with it yet. So I got to finish up this side right here beside the door, and I got to work on the doors a little bit still. But we restored those doors back to their proper height of over 8 feet tall.
Wow.
And those are handmade doors.
Wow.
Nice.
Anyway, we're going to go in this side, and I'm not coming out that side.
lizard. We let him go first, and he'll shoot any rattlesnakes that are there. Wow.
Wow.
Look at this.
The mirror. Wow.
That's a really old mirror. But this is the parlor, and the two young ladies on the table here are Emma and Ella Marble. Emma and Ella arrived here in 1882 with their parents. Emma and Ella would grow up here. Emma, the older of the two, would later get married and become Emma Marble Muir and become the first historian for this town. This was her history. She lived it. She'd go on and write several articles about the history of the town. Some of them for New Mexico Magazine, which are on display in our museum. We have poster boards in our museum that have way more history than I can ever tell you in a tour. John Evanston, the stagekeeper, would get ill in 1887. The Marbles would try to care for him in the room behind me. He died in that room of heart trouble. His picture's up on the wall on the right, and the bed's the bed he died in. Most of the furniture in these two rooms actually belonged to the Marbles. Emma became very good friends with Frank and Rita when they purchased the town in 1935 because she realized Rita wanted to preserve this history. And they would become very good friends. Which is why we have their furniture in here today. I'm losing my fireplace. You can see the rubble on the ground.
Yeah.
That's why we're so adamant about we're trying to get a contractor out here to give me an estimate on what it's going to take to redo this wall and redo the side of the building and redo the fireplaces. All the rebar and stuff you see going through this building and all the wood holding it together, all done by my father-in-law Manny. You'll see his work all through these buildings as we walk around. There's bad droppings in here too, and I'm not gonna run and get the room for these ones.
Oh my God.
This is the family's living quarters from when they ran the hotel, and also the bed John died in. They try to care for him. And here's pictures right there on the wall behind you. And the back wall's the reason I don't take you upstairs.
The boots.
Yeah, they're old boots. They've been in here as long as I've been coming here. And like I said, the back wall's the reason I don't take you upstairs. Earthquake did that. I don't think this building would survive another earthquake.
Is that like a menorah?
No,
or just a
candelabra. Look at your feet as you're walking forward, just in case.
You scared me.
Yes, I mean, I glanced over there, but I did kill a rattlesnake over there not that long ago, so. That's when you see you walking that way. That's why, in these old buildings, you always look at the base of where you're walking first, just in case. I try to look around, but I'm not perfect either.
Yeah, sometimes they're in front of you. You can't see them
very well.
Yeah.
And a sign in German. It's an older dialect of German. The sign above the fireplace. It's a Bible verse.
Be careful.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. You can walk over there. Just pay attention to where you're.
Make sure that sticks on it.
Look at the base of the wall, and that's just the same with any of these old buildings. You always look at where you're stepping before you step. In Ohio, when I was growing up as a young boy, my dad always told me, make sure you always keep your head up. You always look where you're walking. Well, out here, you need to look down. And make sure you're.
Nothing is.
Right. I mean, hell, I walk around here in the middle of the night, so ain't nothing out here surprises me. So, and I get bobcats here and all kinds of stuff.
Really?
Wow.
I've even seen a mountain lion here once. Yeah, big cat, big cat. Mountain lions are big dog-sized cats.
Where Shakespeare goes down. I'm coming.
I'll walk down the hallway and walk into the kitchen and dining room. The bar that's next to the wall in the in the hallway is a bar from a movie set from 1993 called Doc Holliday's Man Legend. There goes the bat.
Where? Oh, I
He just
missed.
flew that way. He's flying around.
Oh, oh,
In this building.
oh,
Do you want me to get the camera so you don't jump
oh, yes.
Are you scared of bats?
This also
She's
not
scared of
that
everything.
much.
Yeah, he ain't gonna bother us. Trust me. He'll
Yeah.
fly around. He'll go back upstairs or something. But like I said,
It's
we do
dark,
get bats
though.
in these buildings, and that's a prime example. Upstairs is very nice. I don't take you upstairs, but you're welcome. There's a bat. He's still flying around.
Where is he?
On top of your head. Oh, 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 oh.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he's flying around.
I want to get him. There he is.
Like I said, he ain't gonna do anything to any of us. You don't have to be scared of him.
He's probably more scared of us. Huh?
Yeah, like I said, he ain't gonna.
He hide.
Another kid.
Here you go.
Yeah,
Oh, there he is.
like I said, you walk this way. He ain't gonna touch you. Trust me. I do these tours all the time, so I know these bats very well. I didn't name them or anything, but you know, I know that they fly around in here, and I'm used to them. One of my funniest stories is from this hallway and a bat.
Oh.
I was given a tour to a family. It was the parents and two young girls. They were probably, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years old or whatever. And a bat flew down this hallway. Who screamed the loudest?
The mom?
Mm-mm.
The dad?
The dad.
The dad.
He was screaming like he's the 9-year-old girl, and was trying to break my door down to get
Oh,
away.
no.
Oh, wow.
And I had to calm him down. Like, sir, you have to calm down. It's just a bat. You know, it's not going to turn into a vampire. You know, it's just a bat. I had to calm him down, but I bet that family never lets him live that down. Dad's supposed to be the protector of the family,
Yeah.
not the one that's scared.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, oh, there he is. He went out to the other room. Well, we know what's going to happen in an emergency. He's going to run away screaming, huh?
Yeah, he's going to run away screaming. You can't depend on Dad. At least with that family.
Wow.
But,
This room is amazing.
So this is the dining room. You see how large it is? You needed a large dining room like this. You not only served the patrons of the hotel in here, you also had to serve any miners that came in here to eat as well. 3,000 miners during that first boom. This was a busy building. There was a fireplace here at one time that was taken out because it was falling down. And there was a doorway right there at one time that's been in and out a bunch of times. If they get this wall restored, both of those will go back in there. And I'm probably going to have to do this to the other side of the building to keep it held up until I can get it restored.
Yeah. Wow.
I guess that's third on my list of projects. I got to finish this section, and then I got to paint the building, and then I'm going to put up this kind of stuff in the other room to hold the building up. That's cloth hanging. Remember, the ceilings used to have cloth strung underneath these ceilings. That's just a strip of cloth. If you look on the edge of the like a lot of the walls, you can actually see cloth still hanging, and I'm not really seeing any. I see like a little tiny sliver there.
Yeah,
But
there's some down
you can
here.
see some hanging down there off of the beams.
Yeah.
Look where you walk.
I'm seeing.
It's more in the corners and against the wall. In the open, you should be able to see them.
It seems there's some down there by the door. I don't know if you put that in or if that's a old
What's that?
cloth at the end.
Well, no, that cloth is still the cloth that.
It's still the old one, huh?
Hanging there.
Yeah. It doesn't look in that bad of shape. Is that the bats or cheap? Or
Yeah, all chairs from different eras here, lined up against the wall.
Just.
Kitchen's pretty neat. You can see what's left of the cloth ceiling actually in here.
There we go.
This is not an original cloth ceiling, but this was put up probably by Jane and Lunar girls. But it gives you the idea of what a cloth ceiling will look like. It's falling apart today, but
Wow.
and
The blinds.
stove is very neat. It has a warmer up top. You don't got to worry about the bug. It just flies around.
June bug.
You have your warmer up top. You have all these neat little flaps to help keep stuff heated as well. No menus when you ate here. You ate what they were serving or you didn't eat. And your running water would have been one of the children in a bucket. They would have became the running water literally. And yeah.
What's that?
I don't know what's in that bottle if that's what you're asking. I'm not taking that cork off and finding out either.
Oh, really? So it's been ages.
Ages. That thing's been in here as long as I've been coming here. I don't know what's in it, and I'm not opening up that cork. It can stay just like it is.
Probably old water or something.
It's something,
There's
and
something
you see,
floating in it,
yeah.
so it's hard telling what's in there.
Yeah.
I had somebody say it was a 100-year-old Mountain Dew, but
Well, it could be
a
literally.
guy by the name of Jason Treharn or something like that. He does a lot of YouTube videos online. He's a YouTuber,
It's Billy the Kid. Huh?
yeah, picture Billy the Kid. I really don't concentrate on Billy the Kid too much. He was only here for a couple days.
Yeah.
He didn't kill anybody here. He just earned his supplies and moved on by sweeping floors and washing dishes here because he was a skinny little boy. He couldn't work the mines. The bottle on the windowsill turned purple. It started off as clear, but there was manganese in the sand that the bottles were made with, and when exposed to ultraviolet light over a number of years, turns purple.
Wow.
The ultraviolet light reacts with the manganese and turns the glass purple.
Very cool.
And you got your eggs in boxes like the little one on the windowsill, packed in sawdust. Cardboard and plastic didn't exist at that time. You didn't have those neat little egg cartons.
And see the glass ceilings. That's neat.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that first guitar I was talking about is called the frying pan because it basically looks like a frying pan where they put the strings. Yeah, that reminds me of it.
So that makes me think of like an electric banjo.
That's pretty much what it looked like. And I believe the banjos are made out of snare drums.
Huh.
That gives it that twangy sound.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
You don't have to ignore all my equipment and stuff from working down here. What happens when you work on a project? You have a bunch of tools and stuff laying around.
Very cool. No, I like to see the rawness.
This is about as authentic as you're ever going to find
Yeah.
as a ghost town goes.
Exactly.
It hasn't been commercialized, and there's something left.
Yeah.
This is my father-in-law Manny's flying buttress system. He designed to push on the wall to keep the wall in place. Very ingenious of him.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
And this would have been a stone corral that would have been around this building, this area for the time for the hotel. And you can just see what's left of the walls basically all the way down to the ground now.
Yeah.
Just the foundation. The next building down was a mining superintendent's building. It's just the foundation today. And some old ore cars and some old mining equipment laying down there, but it's just the foundation. And we'll cross the street and we'll go over to the oldest building on the property next. Apparently he doesn't want to drink.
He's panting, but
Come on.
did he get it? I don't know. He was lifting his feet. I don't know if it's hot or he stepped on a sticker.
Oh, okay. Come on.
A while back, he got a thorn stuck in his paw for a while. And it got infected.
One of those, they have those, I forget what they call them, but those little round things.
You want a drink?
Oh, sure. Want me to do it? I can do it. I guess it was like those cattail stickers. We have a lot of those around our house.
Well, the next building across the street is the old Army Military Relay Station. It is the oldest building on the property.
I poured the water on him.
You poured it on him?
Yeah.
Gonna help him cool off a little bit.
Yes.
It's like my kid looking in the shower after I take a shower. I'm like, you don't want in there, it's wet. Cats not liking water.
No.
Is it hurting you something?
Look at that.
Cats cats keep themselves pretty clean. They're lickers. I mean, they clean themselves pretty well. Well, most of them.
Yeah.
But anyway, this side was constructed in 1856. It's the oldest building here. That's why it says 1856 on the flagpole out by the gate. The rest of the building was added on in 1858. You can see the difference between poured adobe and brick adobe. And we'll walk through this side and walk out this door. If you look up in this room, you can see what's left of its old yucca stock latia roof with dirt on it still. After the Army abandoned this place, families used this as a home.
Wow.
I did have that shutter open, but it blew closed, so. But you can see this old roof.
Wow. Wow.
So the mud up there is the original roof, huh?
Yeah.
And then
It was at least the last yucca stock latia roof before they put tin on there. Now, it might be the original roof. I have no idea, no way of really knowing. I would assume it's the original roof, but I can't state that for sure.
yeah. And then they got sticks here.
Well, those yucca stocks.
That's okay. That's
You ever
the
smell
yucca.
the yucca stock?
I don't think so.
So this center section collapsed in 2020, and the beam is sitting against the wall right there.
Oh, wow.
And I saved some of the yucca stalks that came out of that, and they're in this next room. You know what a yucca plant is? No. I'll point one out. We're gonna walk by one, but this is a stalk that sticks out of a yucca plant.
Okay. There we go. Oh wow, very light.
Very light, very strong. That's almost 170 years old.
Almost. Wow. So is it like a cactus?
And kind of, but not really. It's not really a cactus. It's a plant, and it has a stalk that sticks right out the middle. They're all along the highway.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I've seen it. What?
The molokhia.
Yeah. Oh, they cut it with this.
They cut it with this. The fresh
Moleche
one
is like a soup
made
in
of
Egypt.
some type of plants, green plants, and they cut
They
it
chop
with
it all
this.
up like that.
Yes.
Furniture.
Oh,
Wow.
oh.
Reproduction of 1850s camp furniture. Every piece of furniture in here comes apart. You can lay it flat on your wagon and put it back together when you get to where you're going.
Very smart.
Yeah.
The owls love this building because of that big hole up there. They are civilized birds. They do eat at the table, but unfortunately they do everything at the table. That's what's left of an out
Oh,
pellet.
wow.
It disintegrated. It's probably about
Really?
3 or 4 years old. Just disintegrated. You can see the little bones and stuff in there.
So that's, wow.
You know, owls, they eat that stuff and then regurgitate what they can't digest. Like they'll eat the whole mouse and then just regurgitate the little bones and stuff and that little, in an owl pellet.
And that's a real candle, huh?
Yeah, an old candle, yeah.
Yeah.
Blacksmith
Very,
silverware
very
made in our
nice.
blacksmith shop.
Would you sleep in this bed?
I wouldn't. You couldn't make me lay in that bed. Yeah.
Look at that. Hay bed.
Yeah.
Does it have the rope bottom,
I never looked underneath there, to be quite honest with you.
or is it just a wood?
I'm guessing that
Box.
one's probably just wood. Never actually paid attention. It could be rope, but as far as I know,
Yeah.
I never really thought to look.
I can't get down. I don't want to get in the dirt.
Right, I don't either. So
It's not. Here's your ladle, huh?
Huh?
For water.
Oh, yeah.
The
Yeah.
gourd.
the gourd.
Yeah, because that's where they get the sleep type. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Yeah.
I should have got his backpack.
Oh yeah, why didn't you get that?
I forgot.
Next, we're going to go up and we're going to go into the assayer's office. Assayer's
Maybe
office
I'll
is
get
where
in the
miners
car.
brought their ore to have their ore evaluated.
Ah,
You ever watch an old Western and you see a guy find a rock on his property and he runs into a building and comes out with cash?
yep. That's the
That's
essay.
Hollywood. In real life, your ore's got to be processed before you ever get paid.
Oh,
So
okay.
that didn't happen.
So yeah, because I guess you wouldn't know how much gold is
Right,
in the
that's
rock.
for movies. That's for movies. That's not reality. But this building, this assayer's office, was in bad shape in the 1980s. And Manny got some people together, re-poured the walls back out to their proper thickness, and redid this entire building.
Wow.
It looks like what it should look like in the 1880s. And you see the cloth ceilings up. The walls are nice and white. And this was done about 35, 40 years ago now, so it's starting to show its age a little bit. But some sample rocks on the counter here. Copper oxidizes and turns green. This is a chunk of copper. An actual chunk of copper with some quartz in it.
Yeah.
The pretty blue in this rock is azurite. And this is a chunk of iron ore.
There we go.
You can bring the dog in the building.
Oh, yeah.
This is a chunk of quartz. This black line that runs through the quartz.
Wow.
Black line is a little black line that runs through this quartz. And you guys know what the black line is?
I'm guessing it'll lead to gold.
So it's silver.
Oh, silver. Okay.
If you have any silver jewelry,
Yeah.
like if your rings are silver or anything like that, if you don't keep them clean, they will oxidize and turn black.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yes,
Yes,
Oh,
they
yeah.
will if you don't keep
You
them
know
clean.
what? They say
And the
toothpaste,
clean it with.
vinegar, and baking soda.
And this has got pyrite in it.
Okay. Yeah.
Fool's gold.
Fool's gold.
You've probably seen that before.
Yeah.
So the idea in here is if you had your own mining claim and you needed to get your ore assayed, you'd bring your ore in here and give it to the assayer. He would take it and he'd weigh it on the scale. Then he'd take the giant hammer and pulverize it into a powder. And then put it into a crucible and take the crucible and stick it in the assay furnace and heat it up and melt it down. Then he would extract the various minerals and metals from one another by using things like arsenic and cyanide and mercury.
Oh, wow.
And then he'd weigh each of the minerals and metals up in this scale here after he separated them from one another and figure out how many ounces of each you could expect to get per ton of ore. Then he'd write you out a report on your mining claim, and you had that report to take to present to maybe other potential investors or even a bigger mining company you're trying to convince to buy your mining claim from you.
So that was more the idea, is to show that the claim was valuable and then sell the claim?
Yes. So, in a lot of times you didn't have the means necessary to mine it all, and you wouldn't want to break your back trying to mine it all yourself. So
Yeah.
you'd either be able to have this report made so you could either get other investors so you could pay workers, or you would just sell it to a bigger mining company. You know, if they liked what the report and you could sell it to a bigger mining company, and then you'd get paid, and they'd worry about mining it, and
Awesome.
you'd be out of the picture, but you wouldn't have to worry about mining it all.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's smart.
So cool.
Yeah, a lot of times there could be 4 or 5 people that own the same mine, that owned a certain amount of, one might own 20% of the mine, another one might own 30%, and there might be somebody else that owns 40%, and maybe one guy owns 10%, so a lot of times they had different investors and they would sell off their
shares.
Their shares.
So almost like stocks. Huh?
I don't know really if they would be considered shares at that point. Their percentage of what they owned.
Ownership, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. This is the equipment from this building. The books are props, however. We didn't leave any actual documents in here for the rodents to eat.
Yeah.
Any actual historical documents.
Oh,
But the books are, the rest of the equipment is the equipment that was left here. That's a book press. It's used for making copies, at least in here. That was your copy machine. Book press, letter press, whatever you'd like to call it. But the paper in the 1800s was thicker than the paper you use today, and you also wrote with a quill. That leaves a lot more ink on the page in your ink pen of today. If you needed a copy of this report, you got yourself a sheet of onion skin paper. You would dampen the onion skin paper, lay it over the report, slide it between the plates, and squish them together. Some of the ink transferred to the onion skin paper and gave you your copy. Be backwards, of course, because it's lying on top of it. But you can see through onion skin paper. You peel it up and you turn it over, and you have your copy.
Wow.
Onion skin paper is not made of onion skin. It just looks like yellow onion skin. That was why it's called onion skin.
Okay.
Very hard to find these days.
Wow. I'm learning a lot. And this shade is in pretty good shape.
Yeah, well, I mean, I usually, outside of giving tour, when I got it open during the day, at night I got all these buildings closed and locked, and I do protect this place from any vandalism and stuff, with cameras and stuff like, we have little cameras around here, and I just ordered some other cameras, put even more cameras up, but these cameras will be very visible, be more visible ones, but they're solar powered, so I like them, so. They're bigger and you'll be able to see them. I can't hide them as easily, but I guess people will see them and say, "Oh, I'm on camera."
Smile, you're on camera.
Smile, you're on camera. These ones have solar panels on them, so you don't even have to worry about it. So, bark at me again.
I thought you guys were buddies, Juno.
Yeah, we've been walking around for a little over an hour now.
Yeah.
Short-term memory there.
Next, we're going to head to the blacksmith shop, and our blacksmith shop, didn't exist in the night. It was torn apart after the first mining boom. After the second mining boom, it was torn off. They took because it was made of wood, and when that second mining boom ended, they took all the wood and just left the foundation.
Okay.
And then my father-in-law Manny, after he married Janet Lou in 1989, 1990, would rebuild the blacksmith shop on its original spot. And then then in 1997 we had a fire here, and the blacksmith shop burned down. This other wooden building, which was a hay barn, burned down, and the general merchandise, which is just the foundation, also burned down. And watch out for the branches; it has thorns on the branches.
Yeah.
This is a mesquite tree.
Some Jesus crowns there.
My father-in-law Manny would rebuild this building. And I drive through here sometimes, so I don't want this square nail.
Yeah.
I drive.
Definitely.
The nails and stuff just keep coming up. So this is the most well-equipped blacksmith shop I think I've ever seen. Well, I know I've ever seen, but
Wow, look at this.
that blacksmith seemed pretty excited about running it.
Oh yeah, that guy, your friend. Wow. Imagine working in here all day.
Well, those windows on the other side open too. My father-in-law designed these windows. All these windows open up at once.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That gear down there in the corner
Oh.
opens up all the windows at one time.
Wow.
And
Automated.
yeah,
Look at that.
just crank handle. Everything you could possibly want as a blacksmith in here, though.
Look at this.
Wow. Yeah.
Now my nose is not running, but my eyes are bothering me. Funny how that works.
Yeah. I get that.
But my father-in-law Manny made this bear trap. It looks like a dinosaur
Wow.
trap,
Oh,
including
wow.
chain with giant hooks so you can't drag it away. It's way bigger than it needs to be. There are no bears here. So he wanted to make it, so he did. Him and a friend rebuilt that block and tackle used
Wow, look at
used
this.
for moving equipment around in the mines. When they got it, the blocks were destroyed, the rope was gone, but all the metal pieces were there. And they spent about 3 years rebuilding that. Even the wheels behind the rope are made of wood like they were originally. The other neat thing I like to talk about in here is the bucket that's hanging down there off of the hook. Looks like a funnel.
Yeah, I saw that. The funnel down there.
Oh, yeah.
You ever seen a bucket like that? Can tell me what type of bucket that is?
My guess would be catching rainwater.
No,
I don't know.
it's what's known as a fire bucket.
Oh.
Oh.
Fire extinguishers didn't exist in the 1800s. You always
Oh.
needed a bucket just in case of a fire. Unfortunately, if you had a normal bucket sitting in here and you were saving it for a fire, sooner or later someone would come through and need a bucket.
Yeah.
What would happen to your bucket?
You lose it.
Somebody'd steal it.
Yeah.
So this one
Not
won't
if you
stay.
shape it like a cone. No one wants to steal the bucket you can't set down without it tipping over.
Oh, yeah.
That's why fire buckets are shaped like cones.
Smart.
Yeah.
1800s ingenuity.
Yeah. I'm learning so much. This is so fun.
Yeah.
You're welcome to look at the tools and stuff if you like.
Okay.
You can walk around that back there.
Let's look at this. The bear trap, the dinosaur trap.
Yeah. Yep, and junk tools for the IRS. Now granted, they say what tools they could after the fire, but would have to restock this through various means after the fire, of course. Which would mean people donating, then buying stuff and whatnot to restore things, even making some of the stuff themselves.
Look at this. I'll come back. The ye old anvil.
Yep.
Look at that.
Quality anvil. Swage block. See how you make your bowls and your spoons and stuff in this? You got all these little shapes on the sides for
Different.
shaping different, you know, getting different curves and stuff. You have your shaping hammers there as well. You get two more blocks with different shapes in them on right there. They all fit in this on this pedestal.
Wow. I just bought one of these.
Yeah.
You know, that blacksmith was just here. He showed me a hand one he made by hand.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, he forged his own
Wow.
hacksaw.
So he's going to be in here making stuff for customers?
Yeah, making stuff and selling at the blacksmith shop. He won't be here every day, but you know, and I don't know how many days a week he plans on coming here.
Yeah.
But my primary thing is the second weekend of the month. That's when the reenactors come and give tours. That used to be like our special weekend, and I kind of wanted him here on that weekend. And he doesn't live that far away. He lives like 20 minutes away or so. But I told him, you know, if he wanted to come out here other days, you know, just call me as long as I'm here. You know, you can come run the forge. I mean, and so hopefully we develop a friendship, and you know, he comes and runs the forge and stuff, and everything's, you know, good. I would like that, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, just met the guy today, so
Yeah.
time
never know.
tells all tales,
Yes.
and we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, you never know how people are.
No truer statement than that statement right there. Time tells all tales.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Can't escape time.
Yes.
Nope. You'll show your true colors eventually.
No matter what. One of our blacksmiths that used to run the forge has gotten older and can't do it anymore, Hopper Shannon. And this was Manny's project to redo this building. Doesn't exist anymore. I've taken the funds from this and directed it to the hotel because it won't do me any good to redo this building if I lose that one.
Yeah.
And this is Jan Lou about 2 years before she passed away on the wall, and she's about 63 in that photograph.
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah.
She looks like who? She reminds me of someone.
She reminds you of what?
She reminds me of someone we know,
Let's see.
but I don't recall who.
From Egypt or U.S.?
Like I can't get.
I
the
can narrow
name.
it down.
Like I don't know. But
Look.
her face is familiar.
So what is that just like a teepee?
No,
Or
that's used for
a
making
fire?
charcoal.
Or that's a fire for
Used
fire?
to making charcoal.
Really?
In Prohibition, that would be very important. Got to remember, this was a town clear through Prohibition, and that you would throw wood in there and you catch it on fire, but only so much oxygen can get in there, so it would go out eventually, and you'd have your charcoal for your forge.
Ah. I thought someone just made a metal teepee.
No. You guys want to see the gun collection?
Yeah, I can't film it though, right? I can't film it though. Okay, I'll turn it off when we get there.
Well, we're there.
We were never there.
We're there.
There is no gun. What gun collection? Okay, let's go.
Bye,
Okay,
family.
sorry guys, gotta turn this off.